Welcome back to You Can Beatbox. In today's episode, we're going to be tackling what I think is a very interesting topic, beatboxing and vocal percussion for acapella. Before we start, please do give a thumbs up to this video because it helps out the channel a lot. Today's tutorial is going to look at two important parts of beatboxing for acapella. Number one is looking at some of the best practices for beatboxing in an acapella group in terms of stamina, consistency, and breath control. And number two is a closer look at beatboxing with a group in general. But first, a little background. Acapella music. This is any music that uses just the human voice. It's usually groups of 5 to 20 people that do covers of popular songs, again using just the human voice. Famous groups like the Pentatonix and the VocaPeople have brought it to the mainstream along with shows like The Sing-Off and the Pitch Perfect movie franchise. And of course the reason for this video is that beatboxers and vocal percussionists are a critical part of any acapella group. And so you guys trust what I have to say on this topic. I've had the chance to perform all across the US and even internationally with 4 different acapella groups over the past few years, so I definitely feel qualified to delve into this topic. And I hope my perspective will help anyone that wants to get involved in the acapella scene. And one last little bit of background before we delve into the two areas. You might be wondering how to get involved in the acapella scene and how to join a group. There are plenty of avenues that you can explore to get connected with a group or to audition. If you're currently in school or going to college, look into joining an existing acapella group, glee club, or choir. These are usually courses or clubs that you can sign up for, or auditions are held at the beginning of the year or semester. There are also a lot of acapella groups based in cities that you can contact. You can also form a more informal group with friends or classmates, and there are also plenty of online resources and even camps based in the US that you can do acapella-based activities around. Okay, I think that's enough background. Now, let's look at some of the best practices that you can work on if you want to beatbox with an acapella group. First, stamina. It's important to note that most acapella groups will beatbox songs that are anywhere between 3 and 4 minutes long, so as a baseline, you'll need to be able to beatbox for that long continuously without any break. On top of that, if you're doing a live show or performances with any group, those can last anywhere between 10 minutes and up to an hour and a half, so you need to be able to keep going for a long time. You'll probably have a little bit of a break between each song, maybe a minute or so, but shows can be a marathon if you're not prepared. So next on the list and related to stamina is breath control. This is a quicker concept to cover, but if you think about the fact that each song is 3 to 4 minutes long, you'll need to be able to manage your breathing so that you don't run out of breath over the course of the song. Up next, consistency of your sounds. If you think about it, when a drummer hits the bass drum or a cymbal, it sounds the same every single time. That's what I mean when I say consistency. If your snares or your bass drums sound differently each time you make them, that can be somewhat of an off-putting musical sound, so you need to make sure that you're practicing so that your sounds sound crisp and consistent every time you make them. It will make you and your entire group sound that much more professional. And the last of the best practices applies mainly when you're doing things off mic, and that's volume. If you're performing on a sound system, especially if you have your own microphone, this will be less of a problem. But for a lot of performances, you won't get a mic or you might not even have a sound system, so you'll have to make sure any size crowd that you're performing for can hear you. These are the scenarios where you need to make sure that you're loud enough that everyone in the room can hear you and you don't get lost in the background of the vocals. It's also important to keep in mind that if you're trying to be loud and heard in a room, stamina and breath control can be a little bit more tricky, and the only way that I know how to get louder and make sure that you're consistently loud is to practice, 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 and if possible, do this with a group so that you know how to balance your beatboxing with the level and volume of an entire acapella group. The last tidbit that I wanted to cover is 2 notes on performing with an acapella group. First, remind yourself and any of your group mates that your sound and your music is much more important than any choreography or any outfit you could wear on stage. And second, if you're doing a longer performance, beatboxing can always make a great intermission or a fun way to mix things up in the show, so see if you can get any chance to freestyle during your acapella shows. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Leave any questions that you have below about acapella music, about auditioning, anything like that. This has been You Can Beatbox. Thanks again for watching, and next time we'll be taking an in-depth look at breath control and beatboxing.